You got it?
This is long.
Ready? This is a Longchamp leather-clad pipe, and as you can see, it has a little nick on the button. What we're going to do is repair it real quick, just to show you how it's done. So basically, what we have here is a card, a piece of a credit card that is cut to fit into the draft hole, and it's covered in cellophane tape because super glue will not stick to cellophane tape, and super glue and activated charcoal are the two ingredients that you need to repair and this is not a lucite stem, this is a vulcanite stem. It works on vulcanite. There's a different way to repair lucite stems, but this works for vulcanite. So all you really have to do is take some super glue, fast drying, and put you a good bead right there, and then just start building up your activated charcoal, and you'll have a big ugly looking hump of this, and it dries so fast. So you want to try to match the other side button. You're going to file it down. To be perfect.
Where do you purchase activated charcoal?
You have to get it at pet food or pet supply stores. It comes in little square blocks or little round blocks, and you have to grind it up. Like I said, you want to build up a really good little mound of it so you can have plenty to work with when you start filing. And of course, you want to put some newspaper or something down because activated charcoal is messy as hell. It'll get all over your hands and probably give you some kind of cancer.
Only in the state of California.
I just want to give a quick shout out to Daniel Suh, who is joining us live via Facebook.
And if you didn't
Daniel son.
hear, the only thing you need to repair a vulcanite stem is super glue, fast drying super glue, and some crushed activated charcoal, and something to plug the air hole with. You can see you have to wiggle it out, but you can see how this has held the draft hole open. Stab myself with these little things. Super glue. You want to always check and make sure that you're not gluing your card in, even though super glue is not supposed to stick. Sometimes it will. So make sure you can move it in and out. But once you get the first layer down, you really don't need the card anymore. Come on. There we go. So yeah, it gets a little bit, like I said, it gets a little bit tight, but that's okay. You want to be able to move it freely in and out. You'll have to run a pipe cleaner through there a few times because you're not going to be able to file the inside of it off, which is why you want to use something smooth to kind of keep the area clean. So this, you can see the button on the bottom is kind of big, so you still have a lot of building up to do. And you can do this over a course of days, but the faster the glue dries, the easier it is on you. That's probably big enough right there.
It's pretty cool.
Okay, just to show you how this works, the only thing you need is some files or some sandpaper, and you just want to shape that button like it is on the back side. See how that button sticks out a little bit? So you just want to kind of match that button on that side, and you start just filing it away. And the cool thing about this process is, if you mess it up, you can just add some more super glue and some charcoal. You want to have plenty of sandpaper, and if you're opposed to getting dirty, you'll want some gloves maybe. And you're not supposed to treat a file like this. It's supposed to just go one direction.
I was about to say that. A lot of people don't know how to use a file properly.
But this is not metal, so you're not going to hurt the teeth of the file. It's just more for ease of use to me. Just keep it on there and move it back and forth. But the teeth only cut one way. So, but you can see we've got the beginnings of a shape. And always check your air hole. Make it nice and clean. And that's almost done, really. Just a little bit more shaping, probably a little bit more powder, a little bit more super glue, and it'll be smokable. Of course, you know, we still have to polish the stem and things like that, and we may show that at some other time, some future meeting, how to polish a stem.
Now, before someone goes out and tries this at home, how do you tell the difference between lucite and vulcanite?
The bite test is the way I always do it. A lot of the time, vulcanite will oxidize. Sulfur leaches out of the vulcanite, and it'll turn the stem yellow. Lucite, or any of the other names they have for that particular material, perspex, whatever they call it, ebonite, those won't oxidize that way. The other way you can tell is to kind of bite down on it. Lucite will resist a bite, and sometimes it'll sound like it's cracking. Vulcanite kind of gives. It'll let you put teeth marks in it, so you can tell that way. But mostly just by looks. Just by looks. You always want to have plenty of sandpaper. And I use these little balsa wood strips. What they're good for is to put some pressure behind your stroke, so you can get in there, make a tight little corner, and get in there.
Wow. It's impressive. Pretty simple too.
Yeah, it's just more knowing what to do than, you know, actually it's
Are
not
you
hard
going to
work.
build that up some more?
Yeah, it'll need to be built up more to match the button on the other side. It's almost done. You know, it's almost right. And I mean, if you didn't want a button, you wouldn't have to put a button. It's just, I mean, I like a button on a.
Good to get that grip.
Yeah, keep it slipping out of your mouth. Plus, I mean, if you're doing historical restorations on a pipe, and that people want their pipe back like it was, and the reason for restoring a stem like this is because number one, you want the pipe logo to still be visible and use. That's part of the appeal of an estate pipe, is that you've got a Peterson for $30 or whatever. And plus, it's like I've been saying about cigars. Anybody can walk into a pipe shop and smoke a cigar. It takes nothing out of you. Learning how to cut one is about the extent of the knowledge you have to be a cigar smoker. But a pipe smoker, there's always new stuff. You can make your own pipes. You can't do that with cigars. You can repair pipes, collect them. All kinds of stuff that you can't do with
How's it going, guys? How are you?
howdy.
Good to find you today. Actually, it's my first time being here. I was going to do. Hey, we do. Yeah, feel free to look around. We got a few more around there. And stuff. Any questions? All right, man. I appreciate it.
Now, as far as polishing the pipe stem, you want to protect the logo. This has got this logo on this is pressed in. It probably also had some white paint in there or something. But you want to protect that, so you can put nail polish over it or a piece of cellophane tape. But basically, just don't buff it. You want to use these. I use these little microfiber polishing pads. They go from I think 1,000 to 12,000 grit. You can start out with something a little bit rougher, like a 120, to do the shaping. But when you get to the polishing end, you want to start getting into the higher grits. That's where you get your polish from. The shine on a pipe stem doesn't come from oil or anything like that. It comes from the polish. It comes from the sanding. And of course, after you get this all shaped up, you're going to want to give the pipe a really good cleaning, because it'll have charcoal dust everywhere, all inside. And this pipe, being an estate pipe, needs to be cleaned up anyway. It needs to probably have a salt treatment and maybe a retort done on it. You just want to kind of match the contour of the bottom button. There you can see, kind of match the contour and the height. And it's pretty much done.
So once again, for our new viewers, explain what you're doing right here.
Well, Josh, one of our pipe club members, bought an estate pipe, which is a Longchamp leather-clad pipe. It comes with an what do they call it? Vulcanite stem. Vulcanite is just a treatment that some guy invented to make rubber harder. And when you make it hard like that, you can make shapes out of it. You heat it up. You can heat it up and bend it into any shape you want. But it gets hard when it's cool. So it's perfect for pipe stems. Before ebonite, before vulcanite, they were using amber on pipe stems. Tried lots of other stuff like ivory and bone and things like that. Amber was expensive and brittle, so that was one of the main inventions that made a pipe what it is today, is the invention of vulcanite. It made pipes cheaper, it made them more durable, and if you've ever had any dealings with estate pipes, you know that most estate pipes are still in smokable condition once you get them cleaned up, and that's all thanks to vulcanite.
Is bone still used?
No. I mean, they use bone for things like dressing pipes, decoration, things like that, but bone really makes it horrible.
Burnt hair, kind of.
Well, you couldn't smoke, although I know people that do. You wouldn't want to smoke an antler pipe or a bone pipe because it does impart a kind of a nasty flavor to the tobacco, like you said, burning hair. But I know people that are just crazy enough. Equipment to do this, restoring estate pipes, is really, really cheap. I mean, a file is probably the most expensive part of the process, and it's what, $15?
No, you can get one at a yard sale or flea market.
Yeah.
Cheap. Old tools, they're better anyway.
Yeah, this is a Nicholson,
Nicholson makes
Yeah.
the best.
so
American made, probably. That's an older one, probably.
yeah, it's really, really old. I did get this at a flea market.
Yeah. I'm real big on buying tools used.
American-made tools, older, you can always refurbish them, and if you take care of them, they last forever. That's one of the things I like about pipes is you learn how to take care of a pipe, and it will be an heirloom. The only thing you want to be really careful about is you want to, when you're sanding this button off, you don't want to put pressure down on the stem. You want to kind of roll across the button, because what you're trying to do is shape the button. You don't want to get on the stem, the bit, so much. So that'll save you a little bit of labor when you're going to polish. You can see it's almost impossible not to get on the stem, but you want to try. And once you start, you can see it's already starting to get sort of a polish to it. It takes a lot of work, a lot of elbow grease, but one thing you notice there, if you can see in the glare, you see there's a tooth mark. See that little tooth mark right there? You can use this same process right to doctor that tooth mark up. There's another way you can pull a tooth mark out, is take a heat gun and heat the tooth mark up. You know, hold it way away from the stem, because these will blister. But you heat that up, and sometimes it'll pop out. If it doesn't pop out, you can just fill it with. I'm just going to leave it alone. But you know, it can be repaired. There's nothing on a pipe that cannot be fixed, even the broken shank. You happy with that? The shape of it? Looks like the button is doing pretty good as far as matching up the contours on either side. Still got a good bit of work to do cutting it down. But I mean, this pipe is smokable right now. It's, you know, ready to go. Yeah, you could, I mean, you don't have to. I like a little charcoal in mine. I would recommend cleaning it. Like I said, it's still, if you notice in the pipe's been well cared for. It's somebody took good care of it, loved it. But it does need a salt treatment. Somebody smoked aromatics in it, which is, you know, normal for an old pipe. I very rarely buy an estate pipe that hasn't been used for aromatics for some reason. I think it was the availability.
Yes, my granddad smoked cherry.
Most older guys did smoke cherry, or you know, Middleton tobacco was really, really popular back then. Cherry, Granger's.
Probably had less chemicals back then too. I
Ah,
don't know.
maybe
You think?
so. Maybe so. I mean, they probably would have used, you know, natural cherry flavors. So almost there. And I'm serious. Anybody can do this. This is nothing. This just takes patience. The only thing you really have to be super concerned with is making sure the draft hole stays open. And cellophane tape will take care of that for you. But you're gonna get messy. You don't have to have any real expensive power tools or anything like that. You know, buy an estate pipe for 12 bucks on eBay and just take your time with it.
It really is a lot more simple than I thought it was.
Oh yeah.
What grit sandpaper are you using right now?
Right now I'm just using a piece of balsa wood. And balsa, I mean, it really has some of the charcoal dust on,
Yeah.
so whatever the grit, the charcoal dust is. But you can see it's starting to get a good gloss on it. Just a lot of elbow grease. And this is I think 2000 grit. I just want to show you kind of what it would look like. You could, I don't know if you can see, but you see that yellow stuff right there. It's kind of a yellowish color. That's just the sulfur off of the stem. You want to kind of stay away from the shank up here. Put some blue tape or something around it, or pull it out when you're working on it. You don't want to get the sandpaper on your finish. You know, there's a way to fix that if you do. Now there's, you know, speedier ways to do this. You could use a
let's go, guys.
power buffer,
Did you find anything today?
something like that.
I'm not sure.
A Dremel tool, maybe?
Dremel, yeah. As long as you get the buffer. You could use Jeweler's Rouge, the red or the white.
Give me a shout out. Any questions?
So this is it. I mean, this is just a lot of this, really.
This looks like a brand new pipe.
It will once it gets done. I mean, the leather is in really good shape. I would do beeswax or maybe some. I wouldn't use a chemical leather treatment, olive oil or something like that. Just a real light.
Thank y'all. Ladies, man. That's me. You too, man.
But you can see it's starting to shine up pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
You can also give it an OxyClean bath overnight, which will cause it to turn completely yellow, and then you just buff and buff and buff with your micro abrasives. I guess that's it. I mean, really, like I said, it's just a lot of this. Getting it nice and glossy. You can use, they make
Keep a copy of your receipt.
obsidian oil, which kind of protects the stem for vulcanite, and it kind of prevents oxidation and yellowing. But I just use olive oil, just a virgin olive oil, and just wipe a coat on it every so often after each smoke, and just, you know, kind of keep it protected. I think that's done. Just a little bit of. I hope you can see it really good.
Yeah, I'm looking for that put the ends on.
Yeah, it's right there.
Oh.
It's back to factory, just like it came out of the factory.